We are not Jared and Jensen. It really disappoints a lot of you that we are not Jared and Jensen.
Oh, no.
I'm so happy. I am so happy to be with you. I got it.
Sleep in.
You got this. You want to talk to these people?
I have nothing to say.
Okay, here's the deal. Here's the deal with me. You know who we are, right?
Yeah.
This is the SuperNatural panel, and we just met. So I'm really excited. We never did a scene together, so I'm really excited. So, as Stephen Williams, I have had what 8 TV series. Even though this is the SuperNatural, yeah, I'm gonna brag a little bit. Yeah, I'm here now. Okay. So even though this is a SuperNatural panel, what I'm trying to say is, for those of you who do know some of my work, Jump Street, X-Files, you can ask me about absolutely anything. It's the point I'm making. I'm not just bragging.
Okay.
You can ask me absolutely anything about any of those shows also. Now, I saw a big sign out there that said Q&A session. I don't really have a speech other than this stuff I'm doing right now. So you guys, I want everybody in here to just think of questions. That's the way we're engaged. Otherwise, this is going to be a real dull time. We're just going to stand here and look at each other and stuff if you don't have like stuff to ask. So anything about any of my shows, anything about my personal life that you would like to ask, truly, no holds barred. No holds barred. Ask whatever the hell you want to ask. And I will always give you an absolute honest answer, or I'll tell you none of your freaking business. But you will not get any spin. You will not get no, political correctness. And as you can see, I have very little filter. So, you will get a real Stephen. You will not get that cat you have seen on TV. That's what I do. You're going to get who I am. All right? Your turn.
After that, I've got nothing. I kiss against that. That's why I'm here. You can ask anything too. Because if you're brave enough to ask it, we're brave enough to answer it.
Awesome.
Calm down.
I may have a few private moments up here. Don't pay no attention. Where are you guys from? Everybody from Tampa? Oh, you're all from Tampa?
I'm from Chicago.
Where you from?
Where?
Chicago.
Yes! Yes, Old Town. Old Town. The 155 Burton, did you know Old Town? Well Street?
What?
Yes.
Give no addresses.
That's what we do. That's what
And I
we do
brought
from
3
Chicago.
pizzas if you want to come over for pizza.
Pizza? Ooh.
She brought
No, you didn't.
Does this still got duos? Duos there? What is
43
it,
pounds
duos?
of food. You brought pizza from Chicago?
Pizza
We're
and
famous for
Italian
pizza.
Yeah, I live here.
Famous for pizza.
I think I'm gonna be friends with them.
Absolutely.
Travel with pizza.
They travel with me.
Yeah.
Travel with pizza.
Not that deal.
You got pizza, we got beer and booze, let's hook up.
All right.
We got Italian beef too. But
Yeah. Where's the mic? Oh, you don't actually need a mic in here, do we?
It's in front of you.
No. I mean for the questions.
Oh, I was
You don't know if you can line
You're
up.
old, but you're not that old.
Yeah. Anybody got any salve? Some water on me, because I'm on fire now.
Oh,
We
God.
don't have a line over there with with a microphone.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
Yeah, talking to it.
We can talk.
So we're ready to, I am ready to answer or discuss, because this is an interaction. I love that. I love seeing my name in print. Oh, no, come on, somebody give me a pencil.
Why?
How else I got to change this? They did it again. Who's got a pen? A
They didn't
magic
spell
marker.
your
He's got a marker.
Who's got a marker? Who's got a marker?
What is going on
Got a
here?
marker?
It's gonna take a
Oh,
second.
no problem. We got time. We got time. We got to kill this. What do we got? Put it in. Toss it. Come on.
You're so...
Manning, you are not.
It's Steven. They forgot the N.
Oh,
Steven.
yeah.
That's what you're doing.
Oh, Steve.
I didn't do it.
I'm really kind of an asshole about this. Yeah.
Can't tell at all.
There we go.
Nice job.
Can you see here? This is called a real toss. All the way to you. Okay, I'm ready to take questions.
I'm glad you're ready. I'm also ready.
Okay, I'm ready to take questions.
All right, we got time for one more.
Oh, that's fast? Damn.
Hey, he could look at that quick.
DT.
Yes. I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Whoa.
Look,
Yeah.
it's Tony Stark
What?
and
Yes.
Tucker.
Don't is that?
Yeah.
Is that? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Cool, right?
Okay.
Oh, God.
Yeah. You know, I do too much. I don't watch a lot of stuff. Because I'm mad, man. I'm mad because I'm not in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, if I'm not in it, I don't watch it. There's no reason for me to watch it. I'm all pissed off about it. It's, you know, just sitting there watching it makes me even madder. $50 million. He just became the highest paid actor in history.
Who? Robert Downey Jr.?
Yeah, and he's good too. I like him. I like
He is
him.
good.
Yeah, he's very good.
I know.
You gotta be good when you get high enough to get caught in your neighbor's baby's bed and then still. Be good to pull that off. You can't be no journeyman actor to pull that off. You cannot be a brother and do that. Try that shit as a brother.
Oh, God.
Come on, now. Y'all gotta ask me some questions.
There's gotta be one. One.
Us some questions. Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Devin Greco, Lucky and Eccles.
Say that again, because I heard Greco.
Yeah, Devin Greco from 21 Jump Street, and then you got
Richard Greco.
Yeah, Greco, and then Johnny Depp,
And Johnny Depp.
and then Jared and Jackson.
And then Jared and Jensen.
Who's bigger prima donnas? Who's
Oh, yeah, yeah. No compare.
Prima donnas.
Johnny Depp.
No. Oh, my pretty boys are Jared and Jensen. I told him, I walked up to Jared. Really, this is honest truth. The first day we met on set, I walked up to him and I stood in front of him and I looked at him and I said, you know, man, there's not a gay bone in my body, but god damn you are. Good looking male specimen. They are some very great looking men. They're great looking men.
Tall.
Johnny
tall,
and tall, good looking men. And they're men. They're men. You know, Johnny and Richard were. I had dreams about Johnny. He was like a little girl. He was, yeah, he was cute. I had one about him once, and and Greco just had great. I really didn't get for a long time. I really didn't get the popularity of them relative to. I mean, because I'm a much older guy, and maybe that was it. I look at Jared and Jensen, and I go, these are two men. Those were two kids, you know, and they just. It was that magazine that made up. The public tells a lot of you. Well, you probably. The public tells you what you like. I'm looking at you just because you're looking at a young girl. You're from that teen world. The public tells them what they like. What is it? People magazine. Every year they do the 50 sexiest people, the 50 most beautiful people in the world. On that magazine.
Yep.
You can go to any island and find people better looking than most people. People are not the most beautiful people in the world. And they're talking physical beauty, not inner stuff. So, you know, this whole Hollywood perception of stuff is just, so my answer would be Jared and Jensen, hands down. They, cool men and stuff, And I liked Johnny's unique. He's definitely unique. When I first started doing the show, a little story, I'll just talk.
It's cool. I'm tired.
Yeah, I replaced, Johnny never both replacements for the show. There was another kid named Jeff Yeager who was originally had Johnny's part, but he didn't look old enough. On camera, he didn't look young enough to play a high school student. And my role was Frederick Forrest. Is that me making that noise?
Yeah, yes.
Frederick Forrest had my role, but he's a feature actor, so he wasn't used to that weekly grind. He didn't understand. We got to bring this show in 7 days, man. You cannot go away and change the dialogue and come back and not tell anybody you changed the dialogue. He would do stuff like that. But anyway, I replaced him after 5 shows. So when I first joined the show, I was doing 3 shows at once that first week. I was doing his 2 shows. He had did 7, and they wanted to reshoot 2 of them. So doing his 2 shows and my current show, my first episode. So everybody watching me, that was fantastic. I mean, I was just letting it out. I was the veteran actor. After the first year, I started watching Johnny because it was very interesting to watch. Because Johnny had the right idea. He was playing a grown man who was an undercover cop in high school. So he always wanted to assume these disguises, this like shit he did in The Lone Ranger and I mean, that was him in Jump Street too. He wanted to do that stuff, which was absolutely correct because he's playing an undercover guy, but not take it to extremes, you know, and he always wanted to do it. And he was always arguing with the producers because they told him very early that he was going to be a star. So he spent the last year on Jump Street trying to get out of his contract, doing really stupid stuff to try and get out of his contract. But just the story is that he's an interesting actor to watch. So I was watching him the first year, they were, you know, the first week actually they were watching me. But after that, I really started to watch Johnny because he's an interesting actor. And he made some interesting choices in his career. He never did those teen magazines. Because TV will lock you in. Once you become a popular character on TV, you sort of get locked into that, and your producers, of course, want you to do that all the time because that's what's bringing the viewers in every week. But Johnny wanted to just be a human being. And he was the oldest of the kids. I mean, he was 26, I think, when we started. Everybody else was 19 and 20. So he was a man. So he wouldn't do the teen magazines and stuff. And you see he has built a little niche for himself, you know, in terms of the kind of roles he does, from Edward Scissorhands on to that. So interesting, but yeah, Garrett and Jensen.
I know Peter DeLuise has gone on to direct a lot of things. Have you ever been directed by Peter DeLuise? And if so, how does that compare to your experience with him as an actor?
Okay, Peter, I thought was in my opinion, Peter was the most talented of that cast, of the 21 Jump Street cast. No, other than myself. No, but hands down, he's the most talented. He's an actor. He's a wonderful director. And when you see that kid, when he loses that weight, he's twice as good looking as Johnny. That kid really has nice structure to his face. And I say these things about these men because my best friend, and when I started out as a model, my best friend was a photographer at Playboy, so I'm into photography. I can see, you know, those facial structures. And he's really a great looking kid, like I said, great director. And he took Canadian citizenship. He's living in Canada now, married a Canadian lady, has 2 kids, and lives in Canada. And he wrote me a 3-arc, to answer the rest of your question, he wrote me a 3-arc episode of Stargate. He produced and wrote on Stargate for a number of years. And I called him up one day to say hello and howdy. We hadn't spoken in a while. And said, did you ever get anything with Stargate? Peter, give me a call. A week later, he called me back, and he had written me a 3-show arc for Stargate, where I played General Bertrand. And if anybody started, we only did 2 of them. We shot 2 of them. And Peter directed them both. He directed them both. So, and he also directed the last 15, 14, because I directed the final one of 21 Jump Street. The last season of Jump Street. You know, we had a new cast. Johnny had left, so me, Holly, Peter, and then we brought on Peter's brother, Michael, and another kid, us. And Peter directed 16 of that last season of 21 Jump Street. So he's a fabulous director and a damn good actor, and a good-looking kid, and a good guy. The whole family. The family's a good guy. I know the whole family, Michael and David and Peter and Dom. I knew Dom. I was at his wedding. I was at Peter's wedding, and they did the whole thing. They did this thing at the wedding. It was time for the ring, and these clowns. Down the line, him and his 3 brothers and another. They did 5 minutes of who's got the fucking ring. The bride knew nothing about it. I mean, she's panicking, you know. They were a fun family. They were a fun family. God rest down so. Yes, sir.
Yeah, how was it work with with Dean and Smith and Sam? And did they do any joke like prank?
No, I didn't. I heard this is something you can probably address, because I heard they were great pranksters. I never got pranked by any of them because it has a recurring character.
Yeah.
You know, I was not there. You know, and
They prank people all the time in that show, all of them, and they try to one-up each other every time, so it gets worse and worse and worse. But didn't you hear about the thing where, like, Misha filled his car with pennies?
Oh my God!
That was somewhere. They're ridiculous. Like they're exactly like they are on like when you see them in the show, like that, like
Yeah.
how they joke around.
Oh, yeah.
They're like that in real life. They're actually exactly like their characters.
Okay.
And they're always playing pranks on each other. I can't even remember the pranks they played on me.
They were that horrible.
I think I've emotionally blocked it out. There were days where I was afraid to go to work there.
Oh no. Don't hurt me, please.
Serious. They're very funny though. They're super funny guys
Oh,
and they have
yeah.
a good sense of humor. But you know what? The producers are always in on it too.
Oh my
Like when
god.
I first had to shoot with Jensen, they would come whisper things in my ear to throw him off.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh.
So they'd be shooting his coverage, and I'd have to change all my words and say nothing that was in the script.
Oh no.
And then he had to keep a straight face and just like keep doing it. So those
Yeah.
scenes, sometimes I'm on the other side going, squirrels. Like because the director made me do that, and Jensen's like straight face continuing with the
Oh.
scene.
Oh wow.
Sorry, but that's because they get pranked all the time. So they usually don't, they're expecting it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I see
they're
that.
pros.
Yeah.
I'm so jealous now.
Oh my
I
god.
have missed out on
I
all the
kissed him
pranks.
too, you know?
Oh,
Yeah, you should be jealous of that.
I'm really jealous of him.
How about you? See the episode of for the mystery spot? Mystery spot.
Mystery spot?
The one where Dean dies, like, there was
Oh,
like a
yeah.
million, it's like
Yeah.
Groundhog Day.
It's like, oh yeah, yeah, that was
That's
that
yeah.
was a funny
He
episode.
dies
Yeah.
over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jared knows about Jared keeps trying to save him.
Yeah, that was before season 7.
Dave was gonna have to catch the hot sauce. That was
Yes, the hot sauce, yeah. that one.
Listen, I just found out Jim Beaver died, so I don't even know about you guys.
What?
But I was,
Well,
yeah.
What?
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 Well, I
For
didn't
real?
know himself.
Oh, you mean in the show?
Well, you ain't doing the shows.
When you said Jim Beaver, you didn't say like Bobby. Yeah, Bobby. Right. Bobby died.
Oh god.
Bobby Singer. I didn't know because I haven't seen the last.
Oh no.
Bobby Singer was the producer. Right?
Yes.
But was that Bobby? Did he name him after? He named him after him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you women, you just found that out?
Well, I haven't seen the early episodes.
Yeah, you stopped too after you changed.
Well,
I'm gonna need to watch it now.
When they cut you,
yes.
we get real uptight.
Over there. He has a question over there. You just couldn't see it right
Eric's not allowed to ask questions.
Oh.
What's been your favorite episode you've done so far with the boys in SuperNatural?
Mine? That I've shot or that I've watched?
Both.
I'll do a two-part. I actually really loved the formula of the first season, and then that's when I was like a viewer. When it was like its own mini horror movie, and there was always a monster, and there was always like that. I mean, obviously they ran out of like
Freak of the week.
the right. They ran out of urban legends and all that stuff, but I thought that formula, the first season, those are my favorite episodes by far,
Oh yeah.
without a doubt. The one that I like. Well, yours too. I'm biased. I like the demon one because I have to be a demon instead of like, I'm Lisa. We have a good home life. You know what I mean? So the one when I turned into the demon was my favorite because I got to be badass for a
Oh.
minute.
Oh boy. That's funny.
Thank you for the Diet Coke. I appreciate that.
Yeah, how that for the season 9 go be out, right? Season 9?
Who?
Have you ever seen season
9.
Wait, season 9's airing right now, yeah?
now.
No, it's gonna be on DVD. Can it be out?
Listen, I didn't watch it because I'm not on the show anymore. I stopped watching the show when I became a part of the show because then it wasn't real anymore.
Okay.
I mean, you know what I mean? There's, like all the, it's still real. It's not the same thing. I couldn't watch it. I was like, well, that's Jensen and Jared. They weren't Sam and Dean anymore, and we were creating it. And then I couldn't be a viewer, so I'm like, that's awkward. Yeah, because I lost the magic because I was there helping it.
Having great
Yeah.
magic, so it's.
Okay.
So what did he ask about the ninth season?
No, because they have on the DVD right now. It'll be out like at the Walmart.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
We'll have to have a viewing party because I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I think that the part of the
Yeah,
Fallen
I'll figure out
Angels.
a way. Not going to walk. Yes.
Also, I guess I was wondering, so were you a viewer before you were cast in the show?
Yeah.
Or
I used to I watched SuperNatural. Me and my friend Marie were like kind of obsessed with it, and we watched the whole first season. And then I put an audition. I was living in Montreal, and I put an audition on tape, and then they flew me down there, and I was supposed to be Bella. I screen tested with Lauren Cohen to play Bella. It was me and her only, and she got Bella. And then they offered me Lisa Braden, which we didn't know was going to be brought back. It was just like a 2-episode deal, and then it ended up being a big deal. Yeah. But yeah, I used to totally watch the show all the time. I was obsessed. I was like, this is so great. And thought that Jensen was like perfect and handsome. So when the first time I had to meet him, they were like, so you're his ex-girlfriend, you're cool, you're strong. And then I was like, and because when I get nervous, I talk a lot. So I was like, just don't say anything. So Jensen would be like trying to make conversation. He'd be like, hey, blah, 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 where are you from? Yeah. And I just would be like, don't say anything. Sort of awkward. And that came from watching the show because I was such a huge fan that when I got cast, I was like, how am I going to pull this off and be cool? When inside I was like, oh my God, they're so cute. But it worked out all right.
I have a question for Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir.
This actually is from.
Please call me Steve.
Sorry, Steven.
With an N.
Okay, N.
Yeah.
Don't forget the N.
With an N on the end.
It's actually from Greg Ellis, who is downstairs. He's a Pirates of the Caribbean from the Star Wars animes, a few tables down from me. He wanted me to ask you if you remember a show called Crash and Burns. He was apparently on that show with you, and he was embarrassed. Is he here? He just okay, good. Okay, he was actually embarrassed. He wanted to go say hi to you, but he was like, he's not gonna remember. There's no way.
I don't remember anybody.
But he was saying it was a really bad show.
So really horrible. This is so. Does anybody else know that Crash and Burns? Okay. Does anybody know L.A. Heat?
Yeah.
Anybody seen L.A. Heat? One first run. Crash and Burns was going to be the spinoff. Remember in L.A. Heat, we were Chase McDonald and August Brooks, you know, and the chase thing, because in L.A. Heat, we chased everything on everything. From bicycles to foot. It was like Lethal Weapon. It was Lethal Weapon for television. It's basically what L.A. Heat was. But me and Wolf Larson. Yeah, what? Girls? Wolf Larson and I played these two cops like, you know, Danny Glover and Gibson. We did 2 seasons of it. And we thought, we got a great little camp show here. It was camp. It was pretty. I mean, he was pretty. I watched the whole series like a week ago at my house. That was a pretty bad show too. Wolf and I were just so good in it, and we had such a great time. Action adventure. Did my first 3-story high fall. They let us do stupid stuff they don't let actors do. You know, but
It's true.
Yeah, jumping from 3 stories in the building. So when we ended the show, Wolf wanted to do something. He wanted to do some more episodes, right? So Crash and Burns was a spinoff of L.A. Heat. We created that show. Wolf Larson and I created that show. Except for I think I was recurring in a show called Legacy down in Virginia. So I had to go away and be in Virginia for a really nice paying job, as opposed to, you know, when you're creating something, you ain't getting paid. You just something. So I literally had to step out of the role that we were supposed to play, Crash and Burns, you know, to let another guy do it. And I came in one weekend and did a cameo on it, so that if the show went, my character could then step in as, you know. But Wolf and and Wolf produced that entire thing. And what was it? Not Lionsgate, but I forget the company that did it. Who normally do really good, you know, just to, you know, be straight to DVD kind of videos. Normally do really good stuff, but they really messed Crash and Burns up. It was like the gunshots were like pow pow pow. It was just bad across the board. When I saw it, it was like throw up bad.
It's like
It was throw up bad.
FBI agent
They
Crash.
really messed it up. I mean, they
Throw
just,
up bad.
yeah, it was throw up bad. They didn't edit it right. The special effects were all like really foul and amateur and just You know, really, I thought they were using a cap gun for something.
God.
Yeah, so that's, yeah, tell him, yeah. I'll meet him when we go back up. He said, boy, tell me how bad it was. He probably doesn't know that I was one of the, one of the producers and stuff like that. I helped create the damn show. I didn't just come in, because I ended up doing just the cameo because I didn't have time to do the full thing, you know. I was so happy that I just ended up doing the cameo. Like I said, you get the truth from me, because I would deny that show to a room full of like major producers and shit. I said I had nothing to do with it. No, I wasn't in it. That was somebody that looked like me. I'm not going to take credit for being in it. Yes, I saw a hand. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I had one for each of you. For Stephen, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about how your character got to be Jewish on SuperNatural, like if that was you or the writers or how that happened. And for Cindy, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about being on Being Human. And also, I'd really like your character to be back on SuperNatural because they do bring people back.
And I
like
didn't die.
from the dead all the time.
But I didn't die. And most people died.
Yeah.
Just wait for Dean to come back and get me.
I just thought it was weird how they wrote the character off because, like, the whole point was that the demons would go after whoever Dean cared about, and Dean still
knows
cares.
that I'm out there.
Yeah, like
I think most of that
your
came
character.
from maybe they don't know, like that's maybe that storyline just wasn't working for them in the big picture. But you have a very valid point because we're still out there. So if we got hurt in any capacity,
like Dean would come to the rescue.
essentially, yes.
So I would love to see you back on that show.
Well, I wouldn't mind being back on that show at all. But somehow I don't think it's gonna happen.
You never know.
You never know. You never know. What was the other one? Being Human.
On Being Human, and for Stephen, if you could talk about a little bit about his character being Jewish on SuperNatural.
That's weird. I didn't know your character was Jewish.
Yeah, I didn't want to let you talk. I can sum this up too. I didn't either. I had no clue. I learned when I read a line. There was a line in there. There was a Jewish term I used in there. I knew what's the one where don't shiver? Shiver. Yeah, don't sit shiver for me. By that time I had learned that I was Jewish, but there was another one that I used before that.
You
in
didn't
some of the
know?
dialogue. Yeah, I had no clue.
said it.
I just said it. I said, I'm good. Have you seen me act? I am terrific. I'm a great actor.
My friend.
I say stuff, but it was so convincing. I guess everybody assumed that I knew what I was saying. I had no clue that I was Jewish. And then really come crystal clear to me until Bobby had to bury me when he did something Jewish at the gravesite or something. Yeah, so I was, I was totally in the dark.
That's funny.
So it comes off pretty good too, doesn't it? Yeah, when you don't know stuff sometimes, the best thing, some actors over-prepare stuff. You know how you can over-prepare stuff and just get too, sometimes when I played Mr. X on the X-Files, I made the deliberate decision to not do anything. And I hope that it came off because I just tried to be as ambiguous as I could.
You're excellent.
Just say the line and let the audience figure out where you're coming from. And sometimes that's what acting is all about. To me, acting is reacting. Somebody says something to you and you say something honest back to them. And if the camera is in the right place, you've got a great scene, But then there's the Gary Oldmans and stuff like that, people who can really act. Who become different characters. I love him.
Me too.
Gary Old.
He's good.
That's an actor, he's good.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he's actually becomes different people.
Yeah.
Some actors, there's a difference between an actor and a star. Stars are, like John Wayne was a star. Yeah, but he did the same damn thing all the time.
Every movie.
Every movie. Sam is getting like that now. Samuel Jackson is sort of getting like that. They sort of do the same thing. They are personalities. They are stars. They are, as being good. But they're not, Gary Oldman is an actor. People like him are actors. And
Sure.
like you said, even Robert and there's a few Jeffrey Wright. Jeffrey Wright is definitely, I want to see that French thing he did. The brother who, Jeffrey Wright, he's the brother who did, people probably remember from Shaft. He was a villain in Shaft, the movie Shaft. He played a Latino villain. He's just incredible. Broadway actor.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know who that is, so I'll look it up.
Yeah, look him up, Jeffrey Wright.
Seriously.
Yeah, very good. One of those people I truly like.
That
That truly can I? This man, you're freaking me out, man. This guy.
No, look at his eyes. I don't what. He's a punk zombie. Do you remember how we already talked to him earlier? So I was like, it's a punk zombie. Oh, being human. Yeah, being human. I'll tell her. Yeah.
You,
Oh.
I didn't answer that.
if you had creative control over it, would Ben have been Dean?
Oh, jeez, that's such a crazy question.
Because I think she was lying. I'm pretty sure he did that.
Do you want to know something?
Oh,
I don't know.
Kid.
I feel like there's something really cool in him not being Dean's. I don't know why. But maybe it's that whole like Hollywood thing where you always want to, like, sometimes I'm like, I want people to die. Is that weird? You know what I'm saying? When you're watching someone and you're like, no, just kill them. And then it's like, that was brave. I'm glad they're dead. Anyways. I don't know. I think there's something cool about him not being Dean's. I don't know. I don't know what to say to that, because everyone always asks me, do you think he's Dean's? And I don't actually know the answer, and I've never chose to know that. Like, I've never made a point of being like, he is or he isn't. I've kind of lived in the same thing where I'm like, maybe we don't know. Maybe we didn't do a paternity test, so Lisa actually doesn't know. Which is where I've played it off from. Because I feel like it was too definite the other way. Time?
I think I feel like that way about my kids. I gotta have a DNA test done on them.
Listen! How many kids do you have?
Two
That you know of?
2 daughters, yeah, that I know of. They've always been, my family, all my life. I've never had a DNA test. I figured, before I die, before I make out my will.
Don't say that!
What was the thing you asked us about humans?
Oh, Being Human. Being Human. I don't know if you watched the original Being Human, the UK version.
I've seen both versions.
Okay, so my part with Bernie in the original, I feel like is so cooler because we like pack our stuff and leave, and you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna go live with my little vampire child for the rest of his life. I thought that was really ballsy, for lack of a better word. So the original storyline with Bernie and Cindy Lanham, I thought was cool, and this one was sad. Being Human's a great show. I don't know if you've all seen it. I think it's a great show. Both versions, the US and it's good. It's a neat little premise. It's got everything involved.
All right, last question. I think we've got the time. He just gave us the time signal. Yes.
I'm a huge X-File fan, and I loved your character. And can you share any little stories and what were your favorites?
Mr. Coveney a dick.
I like y'all in controversy because my career is so in the dirt right now.
We'll use anyone's name to get ahead.
It was rumored that, see, this is another one of those creative things. It was rumored that X was killed because Duchovny had something to do with X being taken off the show, with Stephen Williams as X being taken off the show, being killed. I thought it was a very wonderful show. I thought the character was very wonderful. The writers were very good. There was too much richness there for them to kill that character that soon. And the rumor was, and this is how I learned the rumor, I was being directed by another director on the show called Gravesend. He said he saw a statement by Vince Gilligan who said that Duchovny had X killed on the show, didn't want Stephen on the show anymore. Because, hang on, this is it's all rumor.
This is real gossip.
Yeah, it's real gossip. It's all rumor. But there were incidents on the show. The crew on X-Files was a crew that I had worked with for 5 years on 21 Jump Street. Same crew. We shot this all in Vancouver. These are Vancouver shoots. So when I got the part of Mr. X, I'm working with guys that I had worked with for 5 years on Jump Street. So it was Stephen. You got to, hey, come on, man. And they treated me better than they treated David. They were 5 years of family. And David was sort of a, he was reserved. Let's put it that way. He's a reserved guy. He's not an outgoing, gregarious character like I am. And so they treated me a lot better. And so the rumor was that he got jealous that they were treating me better than him on the set. And so he wanted me gone. And I'm eating his ass up in every scene. And the show is called X-Files, and I'm playing Mr. X.
Ladies and gentlemen, keep it going. That's Stephen Williams.
I got one request before I go. For those of you who saw the demise of Rufus
Yes.
Remember the whole thing with Omaha?
Yes.
With me and Bobby?
Yes.
Just do your, that Facebook tweet thing you do. Just put it out there in cyberspace to question, what the hell happened in Omaha?
I do want to know.
Yeah. What was that? It's a storyline that could bring Rufus back.
Yeah.
Put it out there.
You don't know what happened now.
We don't know what happened. May I help you, darling?
Please do.
I love her so. Maybe she hot. I'm so glad I met her.
Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, you can take
She was
they're having their
going anywhere, but-
photo opportunity session.